Hi there, I'm Echo Gillette, and I suffer from depression, which has been professionally diagnosed by a psychiatrist. That is essentially the bare bones of this video. I'm just gonna get that out of the way now, so that we can move on to other things. A lot of YouTubers and people in creative industries deal with depression, and it's not a super big deal. It's just a thing that happens. But I feel like this kind of stuff is important to talk about because it helps remove the stigma around it. So this is essentially just a mental health diary. I am not a psychiatrist, so if you're looking for advice on mental health, you will have to ask someone else because I cannot give advice. The only thing that I can do is talk about the journey that I am currently going on in hopes that maybe people can learn from my personal experiences, because it's difficult. It's a hard, painful journey to go on, but I'm doing it. I don't want this video to be super serious. It doesn't need to be super serious. This is a fairly common thing, I think. There's a couple reasons that I want to make this video. First of all, this kind of thing, I feel like it just helps me to organize and process kind of the thoughts that go on in my head. Also, I feel like when I make these kind of videos, it helps me to work towards a more self-aware version of myself. It's easier to judge my own mental state when I see the way that I would approach the world and the way that I would speak and the way that I would hold myself in hindsight. I feel like making something like this helps me with my overall sense of self-awareness. The other very big reason that I feel the need to make this video is because I feel like my audience deserves an explanation as to what happened in August. So at this point, if you go back on my channel and try to look for videos that happened during the month of August of this year, there is just a massive gap where I just didn't upload anything for a month. There's no explanation. It's just a thing that happened. I have done a lot of moving and traveling throughout this year. I came back to the States for the month of July, but towards the end of that month, I was flying back to London to stay there for roughly a month throughout August, because there were a couple events that I wanted to do from London, and I also wanted a chance to just say goodbye to my friends before I officially move back to the States. And I do want to go back there, but for now I'm just living in the US. Visas are hard, okay? I feel like my mental condition had been slowly getting worse up to this point, and I just couldn't handle it. I feel like there were a lot of things that just happened simultaneously throughout the month of August that just led to me having the worst mental breakdown that I have experienced in years. For starters, I was in London by myself, which meant that most of my time was being spent in isolation. And when you are depressed, being left alone with yourself is not generally a good thing, at least for me, because the things that I say to myself in isolation when I'm depressed are not very nice. I tried filming 3 separate videos throughout August, and every time I turned on the camera, I would just break down immediately. Tiny little things would just completely crush me. There was a really important video that I wanted to make while I was in London, so I booked a room at the London YouTube space, and when I was getting ready to film, this guy had come in and said that he had also booked the room, but that there was a system error, and he just said, like, it's okay, it's fine, you can use this room for now, and then I'll just, like, book a different slot or do something else. And then he left. But in my head, it just felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like I was the error. I was the thing that was wrong about this situation. And I broke down and cried. Just alone in a room at the YouTube space, crying to a camera, like a sad person. There was a point where I went to Cafe Nero and I got some porridge because I wanted something cold and bland. But then while I was paying for it, the woman behind the counter took it and heated it up for me. Then I went and I got on the underground with this warm porridge, and every time I could feel the heat radiating from the bag, I almost broke down into tears because it just made me feel so powerless. This warm f***ing porridge made me feel powerless. I straight up threw it away on the way out because I couldn't stand to have it close to me. But by far the single worst breakdown that I had over all of August was at Summer in the City. I wanted to go to Summer in the City so much. It was like the whole reason that I justified flying out, because I was going to vlog about it and I was going to get to meet all of you guys, and I didn't get to, because on the second day of Summer in the City I had a problem with my wristband and they almost didn't let me into the event, and this one tiny interaction just made me feel like I wasn't supposed to be there, that I wasn't important, and that I just wasn't wanted. So as soon as I got through the ticket line, I just went straight to the girls' bathroom and I just broke down alone in the stall for like 2 hours. Legitimately 2 hours crying in the bathroom stall. So I left. There was a small, brief moment where I was able to just kind of step back and see everything that had happened throughout the month of August, and I just realized that something was wrong. So I sent my sister a text message and I just blatantly asked her for help because I realized just how bad my mental health had gotten. There is one video that I managed to upload during the month of August that you can't see because it's been unlisted, but there was just this weird part of me where I just desperately wanted to ask for help and explain what was going on in my brain. So I just kind of let myself break down on camera and just explained it as best I could given my horrible mental health at the time. Depression sucks. It just sucks. When I go back and I watch that video, it doesn't even feel like me. Seeing how absolutely broken I was. Making that video really did help me though, because I feel like now when I look back on it, it doesn't look like me anymore. It doesn't feel like me. It helps to put into perspective just how much better I am now. How much better being in a good mental health state is. It makes me realize that I can have terrible mental health, but I can also have really good mental health if I work at it and put in a conscious effort to do something about it. When I officially got back to the States, I started looking into professional help. I found a really awesome psychiatrist to help me kind of diagnose what exactly was happening. And then on October 9th, I went to my very first psychiatrist appointment and she diagnosed me with depression. Living up to the YouTube stereotype. Let's drink this and stop being so melodramatic. I was prescribed a very common antidepressant, escitalopram, I think that's how you say it. So I've been prescribed a fairly common antidepressant and I've just been taking that for about a month, and then last week I went back to see her again. I was feeling some of the really weird side effects of the medication, so that's had to be adjusted. One of the weirdest parts about this, about being on an antidepressant for the first time in my life, is that I feel normal. And because I feel normal, I forget what it was like to not feel normal. The idea of feeling the way that I did when I recorded those videos feels so foreign to me now. It's like taking a before picture during a weight loss journey. I'm glad that I have it because I can see it now. I can see what it's like to not have good mental health. And I feel so much better now, even though I really just feel normal. On top of the prescription medication, my psychiatrist had recommended talk therapy, which is something that I'm actually going to be starting on Monday. I want to make this video because I want to be able to document my mental health journey, because I recognize that it's just getting started. I don't know how it's going to go, but I know that it's going. I think it's exactly what I need to do. And if you want to join me on this ridiculous mental health journey, then you can. I think it'll be a nice before and after, because it makes me realize what it means to be mentally healthy and how good it really is just to feel normal, to be at a reasonable state of happiness, to love food and getting up in the morning to walk the dog, and how freaking perfect the weather is. The weather in Phoenix right now is so beautiful. It's so perfect. Things that used to make me happy again. Things that make me sad still make me sad, but I can move. I have motivation. Life is just so much better now because things are just stable. It's so weird how much I just undervalued the idea of feeling normal. My mental health is still not perfect. I still have quite a few traumas that I have to just kind of work through, but I'm working on it, and I think I'm gonna be okay. And it means a lot that I can say that I can say I feel like I'm going to be okay. It's such a good feeling to have some kind of control over my brain and over my emotions. This is how people are supposed to feel, and I didn't understand that before. If I think of anything else, I'll write it in the description. I'm probably going to treat the description of this video kind of like a diary entry. So if you would like to come with me on this ridiculous mental health journey, then you can. If this doesn't interest you and you don't really care, then you don't have to watch it. You can just watch the random art videos that come up on this channel. Things are just gonna get better from here. And I can say that and actually mean it. This is so much better. This is so much better. If you're going through anything like this, I want you to know that there is help. Self-awareness is a very valuable thing when you have mental illness because you can actually step back and realize that you need help. But I also think examples can be extremely helpful. I'm gonna give you 500 awesome points for making it all the way to the end of this rambly ass video. And if you would like to join me on this ridiculous journey that I'm going on, then feel free to subscribe if you're not already. If you're new here, I mostly make art videos on my channel, but you can feel free to subscribe anyway. Watch me draw things like the tortured artist soul that I am. My computer fell asleep, so I'm gonna go tuck my laptop into bed, and I will see you guys later. Bye. I'm a weirdo. You're gonna have to get used to that if you're gonna stay here.